Hey YouTube, this is Shadi the Generator. I got another video for y'all tonight, man. I was just about to go to bed, but I was scrolling, seen this last video, so hey, let's get to it, man. This Blueface getting sentenced for a Vegas club shooting, so I ain't never heard about this, so let's see
So
what's going
the
on.
court has properly reiterated the terms of the negotiation. I think since Mr. Ports went into some of the detail, I think it's important for the court to have some context and understand why this negotiation is the way it is. While it is certainly true that Mr. Traylor was involved in a fight with people at the strip club, Mr. Porter was not involved in that fight. And what happened later was Mr. Traylor went to his vehicle and then drove very slowly up to a group of people who he felt had aggrieved him in the fight and rolled down his window and displayed a firearm, causing other people to jump back. And then he sped into a group of people, ended up hitting a woman and hitting other cars, and then took off. And that's at the moment when the conduct from
Okay, so it's saying, dude, I don't know if it was Blueface or somebody. Um, Sound like they got in a little scuffle, you know what I'm saying? And then somebody pulled up, did the clown goofy move, and rolled down the window, you know, showing the pole, front they move, and then sped off and hit somebody. That's what it sounded like.
our client occurs. So while I'm not here to minimize it in any way, it's dangerous, there is no doubt, but there is a lot from Mr. Traylor that led up to this, and I think the court should also be aware Mr. Traylor is suing Mr. Porter, the nightclub. The nightclub is being sued by the woman who got hit by.
And also, you see conduct right now. You know, I don't know if it's not technically snitching. I don't think if your lawyer is doing all the talking, you ain't make no statements. You just your lawyer, arguing. Hey, look, he just is self defense. That's not snitching. But if you over there telling the whole story,
Mr. Traylor. I mean, there is a lot of moving parts here, but then Mr. Traylor met up with friends over at Town Center in a parking lot, didn't call the police. He was in his employer's work truck, and he must have realized the next day that he needed to explain why he got into an accident and hit these other cars in his employer's work truck, and only then did he decide to make a police report. And he did have some
he
kind
got a
of a
good lawyer.
graze wound on his hand. And again, no one here to minimize that. I think the court needs to understand that there's a dynamic here. I think because of the civil litigation, Mr. Porter's probably going to opt not to address the court, but I'll let him decide that. The negotiation is reasonable given the circumstances of this case. The other incident that Mr. Ports references has to do with taking a cell phone from a woman, and that is who was filming him, and the woman was actually punched by a female colleague of Mr. Porter's. But again, not trying to minimize. We didn't come in here to minimize. We came in here to say that the negotiation is reasonable and the court should follow it. He does live in California and will be seeking interstate compact transfer under the interstate compact agreement. We believe that an underlying sentence of 12 to 36 months is appropriate versus the state's position of 4 to 10. There is no restitution request in this case. I noted from the probation report, and I assume that's because Mr. Traylor is going to pursue his
She said 8 to 36 months instead of 4 to 10 years. It sounds like.
remedies in some civil suit. And it does appear that Mr. Porter has credit time served for 22 days by my read of the probation report. So we would ask that the court. I don't think that there's any uh, opposition to the order out. I'm not. I thought that the strip corridor ended at Sahara.
I did too, and that's why I was
Yeah.
curious to see if there was a separate order related, because I think what the focus is if he's gonna be interstate compacting, obviously,
Right.
limited issue there, but if he's going to be here, the request being made that to the extent casinos and sort of those environments might be not appropriate during the probation.
Right.
I understand the ask, I just wanted to see how it covered it. And they know that they've changed it somewhat recently, and I don't have a copy of it here. That's why
I mean,
it's-
if you wanted to include it to strip corridor to the 95, that's fine. I think you could just say it that way. I just don't think that the traditional order out region covers downtown.
But he's not otherwise seeking to not have the order out or be employed in those areas or anything like that.
We're not opposing it. He doesn't live here, and it's fine, and that's fine.
Mr. Porter, is there anything that you would like to say on your own behalf today? I appreciate that you have the other matter pending, but, it's up to you entirely. This is your opportunity to say something, but there's certainly no obligation. Okay. Mr. Porter's going to decline to speak on his own behalf today.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I forgot. Ms. Wildeveld is reminding me. There's one thing in the PSI that's not accurate.
Okay.
In the criminal history, it shows that there's a restraining order. That was
Which
dismissed.
page are we looking? 3 or 4?
Yeah.
I mean, she reaching right now.
Page
Ain't got
4.
nothing to do with nothing. Something that's inaccurate. That was dismissed.
It's
At the bottom of the
It's at the very bottom, supplemental information. That restraining order was dismissed in August.
All right, it looks like it just had, when they found that the original expiration term, they were not aware that it had been dismissed.
Right,
I did not
yeah.
rely on that in any way for today's purposes.
Okay.
Primarily focusing on the prior history and candor, the weapon history, but we'll make that note for the record here today, that although there apparently was a protective order, that it's not currently operative.
Okay, great, thank you.
It's time now to hear from Mr. Traylor. Are you ready to come up, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to be at council table?
Yeah, that was
or-
kind of reaching, kind of ugly.
Okay, come on up. Before you do your testimony, the clerk will speak.
Kind of bummed up.
Swear you in before you speak.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your full name, spelling your first and last name for the record.
Kentavious Trailer, Kenta, B as in boy, IUS, last name Trailer, TRAYLOR.
And Mr. Traylor, what is your
Dang.
testimony
He went out there and sung his name. He sung his name like an alphabet.
today for the court?
So first of all, I just want to start by saying thank you, Judge. I'm just completely disappointed in this complete process, actually. From the DA to his representation to him to everything. It's just all been a complete drop of the ball on my end. I have complete lost faith in the justice system. This crime has done nothing but take a toll on my life since the day it happened.
You
I
sitting
haven't
there
been able to get
smiling,
work.
though.
Everything has gone down the drain. And yeah, I just feel like this has not been done on my case. I mean, this hasn't been done on my behalf. I know people who get more time for stealing bubble gum, honestly. I know people who do more time for stealing TVs than they do for shooting somebody. I'm just completely disappointed in all of this. I hate the way my name was ridiculed in the social media before I could even find out about it. Like I said, just this complete process has been a complete drop of the ball.
He's a victim for sure. So that's can't victim shame stuff like that. But I don't know. It kind of sounded like he was.
Yeah,
In California things is different probably than other states. But if that had been a narrative in other state, Blueface probably would be in jail. Other than you're not supposed to have no guns, probably.
That's all I got to say about it. It's a complete drop of the ball, and that's it. It is what it is.
And Mr. Trailer, I really appreciate you expressing the frustrations that you have, and I know that the outcome here today won't change that because what the negotiation is has a certain range of sentence and a certain
But
aspect to it.
even that, like I said, I feel like those terms and conditions. I know myself included, would have more than that for domestic violence, for this or that. He has this going over multiple states, multiple this, multiple that. You guys are arguing semantics on can he come here to make money, and so he doesn't deserve to be here. He doesn't deserve to be out and walking around. He doesn't deserve any of that, honestly. But because he has a little bit of money and a little bit of a name, you guys are going to give him that, and that's okay. But just at the end of the day, like I said, I just want to say my piece, and like I said, I'm completely disappointed in all of this.
Understood. Mr. Trailer, and I'm not trying to convince you anything otherwise, and I'm not having a dialogue with you here. I'm just trying to give you the wrap up here that we are going to conclude this case. It sounds like you have another process pending. So
but that has nothing to do with how I feel about this in general.
Again, not a dialogue. I'm just sharing some information with you, okay? I understand that. I'm not trying to convince you of anything different. I'm trying to tell you that we're going to complete this process here today. To the extent that it closes out this process, good or bad, obviously bad from your perspective, it will close it out. And I hope that you'll use the other process to find whatever relief it is that you are seeking, not meaning whatever I presuppose any outcome there, but just that there is another avenue. And the court is going to act within the parameters of what it has here and bring this matter to a close. But I can assure you, I'm not giving anybody any breaks because of any status they have or money they have. I'm working within a system and within a negotiation, and I trust my counsel to make negotiations for reasons, and I appreciate that that's not going to sit well with you. I just thank you for your time here today and letting us know how you feel about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's important.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Trailer. You may take your seat if you wish to stay. At this time, the court will proceed with the sentencing of Mr. Porter, and as per negotiations, we will
change
going
things.
to give an opportunity of
They come to court taking pictures
Mr.
with
Porter.
that they
Same
told them.
discussion with you, Mr.
That's
Porter, that I had
crazy.
with another gentleman this morning. You are here and doing probation here unless and until you are affirmatively approved, meaning given actual permission by the parole probation department to travel out of state, whether it be a travel pass initially or your interstate compact, but you have to be here doing your probation. And I'm going to go through the terms and conditions and your underlying sentence and all the specifics. And I want to emphasize something here before I even get to that point. I don't typically go through the standard conditions of probation one by one because I don't feel it's necessary. I know that they're applicable and then figure when you go through your orientation process and all that. Someone who has some prior history may be familiar already with some of those things. But the main point that I have for you here is the weapons, is the guns. You know you cannot have guns. There's no confusion on that point.
See, look.
And if you choose to roll guns, then that's your choice. But I will tell you, if you get caught doing that, you get brought back here on any kind of probation violation, especially anything involving weapon, I will not hesitate to put you in prison for a significant period of time. You are playing with your liberty, your life, obviously, but you're playing with your liberty if you're going to have guns and do anything that's going to violate your probation in that regard. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want there to be any confusion. I hear people who say things about, I didn't realize I couldn't, do this or that or have pictures with them or whatever. No, 0 guns around you where you are of any kind, and that needs to be quite clear. Somebody just handed me the order out, and it looks like Sahara to Russell does not cover downtown, so I'm going to account for that. So I'm going to adjudicate Mr. Porter this time guilty of discharge firearm at or into occupied structure, vehicle, aircraft, or watercraft. His underlying sentence will be a minimum of 24, maximum of 60 months in Nevada Department of Corrections, suspended with probation not to exceed 36 months. He will have to pay the $25 return assessment fee, $3 DNA collection fee,
24 to
$100
60
DNA
months.
analysis fee.
That's 2
As
years.
we noted, no restitution
2 to 5
will be
years
requested.
suspended sentence.
We do have
So what that means? 2 to 5 years suspended sentence. That mean that he don't actually gotta go to jail. He's doing his time outside of the jail, and if he get caught doing anything bad, what reason, that kind of violates what he got going on, that will actually put him back in jail for the rest of that time, probably the maximum amount of time.
not going to impose a fine.
Depending on how
the
serious
standard
crime is.
conditions of probation, as I noted, including any weapon requirements. applicable. Special conditions will include, and we'll just start there because that was the discussion, that he is ordered to stay out of the strip corridor. And
That he
he's
can't go
also
to no
ordered to
strip
stay
clubs
out
for
of
5, 6
any
years.
gating
That's
facility,
fucking with what he got
institutions,
going
or what
on.
would be indicated
He's a
as
strip club
downtown
rapper,
corridor, the equivalent of the strip
I
corridor.
would say.
So effectively, and again, until
Bust
the
down
interstate
to, yeah.
compacts, he can only be in those
You know.
areas if he has work application, or some other legitimate basis to be there, not as a pastime, as a just killing time in the areas in any way, shape, or form. And so the order out is for the strip corridor and the downtown corridor. We will also require him to have no contact whatsoever with Mr. Trailer or his family. I appreciate that it sounds like others are having contact. I'm not gonna say on your behalf, but directly, I mean, you're directing it, but clearly that's happening. To the extent that there can be any effort to ensure that Mr. Trailer is not being harassed for this situation or having contact, so be it. But your obligation is no contact that you initiate or that you initiate through anyone else by any means or medium of any kind.
Yeah, so you can't
We want you to
intimidate
understand
a witness
that,
so bad, boy. You better never
and
do
I think
it.
impulse control
I'm
counseling
telling
will
y'all
benefit
now.
here as well to make better choices
I
in the
don't.
future in these circumstances.
And that remind me of this dude. He went to jail for I don't know. He beat somebody up, shot him or stabbed him, something like that, right? He did something violent to the person, and the guy told on him, right? He straight up went straight to the police right afterwards. Told him this man, first and last name, did this to me, and I remember the dude went to jail. While he in jail, he have his family members reach out to the dude and try to pay him off at first, right? Like, hey man, we gonna pay you, man. Just don't go to court and tell on him, right? He said, nah man, y'all better get off my phone with that before I tell on y'all. Say y'all trying to bribe me. And then they proceeded to threaten him. He called the police immediately and got them locked up too. Now the system got 3 people in there for $30,000 plus a year, plus whatever they adding on top of that, all the little, phone calls, visits, all that, all because one person wanted to act a fool and then tell his other people to go ahead and act a fool with him. So just remember that, man. Don't let nobody send you off.
No use, possession, or control of alcohol or drugs. That includes marijuana. I take that very seriously for all probationers, so we have compliant
Dang,
probation.
he in California. He can't even smoke
We're going
weed,
to
and she got
have
a
structure to
green
your
jacket
probation, so
on.
full-time employment is required to comply
No
with any
alcohol
curfew that
or
may be
weed,
imposed. Report
and
within 48 hours to no
it's
later than
legal in
Wednesday
your
to
state.
the
Boy, you better
probation
go get
department to
some
get started on the process. Do not take for
medical. Let's
granted
say
that
you
you
got
need to be doing all of these
PTSD.
things and that somehow someone's going to look the other way on that. You need to report. You need to be compliant at all times. And in addition to the standard search clauses, I have one special search clause that any digital storage media that you have access to or use, including computers, handheld communication devices, network applications associated with those devices, social media, remote storage services are also need to search. You must provide all passwords, unlock codes, and account information associated with those items with or without a search warrant at the request of Division of Parole and Probation or its agents. As to the count 2 adjudication, that is the battery misdemeanor. I'll send this magistrate, give you credit for time served, so your probation's only going forward on the one count. But you do have a significant sentence hanging over your head. It's not the max the state asked for, but it is still significant. I'm not undermining any of your prior history. I'm looking at this case and the circumstances as I understand them, but I do want to be clear that, again, I will not hesitate for you to spend a significant amount of time in prison in the state of Nevada if you do not comply with this probation in all
Oh,
respects.
he not in
And you
Cali.
do
He
not
in
stay away from those weapons,
Vegas.
and any of that comes to
I
light for
forgot.
us. All right? The
But
I
still,
think the other counts
marijuana
were
is
already
legal in
dismissed
Vegas,
out of
and
the
he cannot
negotiation, but
smoke.
to the extent counts 1 and 3 have
He
not
cannot
been
go
dismissed, I believe those should be dismissed
ease
too.
his mind
And then if
after
there were
that.
any, other
After
counts
that B
down the road
rating.
prior to that, those would also be dismissed today. Is there
Wow,
anything that we
that's
need to
crazy.
cover?
I don't think so, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right, man. That's it, man. This nigga Blueface just got suspended sentence because he got a decent little lawyer. He lucky on the game, But if somebody if dude did, pull the gun out on him and pull off and hit somebody with a car and all that stuff, I mean, he only in trouble because he, probably a felon. In real talk. So, hey man, the Shotty the generator. Y'all have a great night. I'm finna, call it one. That's 3 videos in one night, man. Y'all can call it one. All right, peace.
I had a bond. I mean,